What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my volleyball coach reaction to Haikyuu Season 2, Episode 25. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball content. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more content. I was really debating whether I should skip one more week and post my Haikyuu reaction video next Saturday because I've just been major binge watching all of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Volleyball Games, and there are so many matches that I'm still not caught up, and I've also been doing my volleyball coach commentary on some of the main men's volleyball matches, and you can watch that entire playlist from all the commentary game linked below. Thank you for letting me know about the bonus footage at the end of episode 25. I'll make sure I watch that. I never expected my perception of Oikawa to change. I was pretty consistently hating on him during season 1 and pretty much all of season 2, and it's not because he's not a good player or not because he's not a good setter who knows how to make his players better. It's just the fact that he was selected as team captain, and for me it's how you conduct yourself off the court. That's really the best indicator of leadership, and that's just as important as how you conduct yourself on the court, and I still believe that Oikawa is lacking with this off-court performance. But I am starting to feel more empathetic because I know what it's like to go through that uphill battle, not being the most talented, grinding away, trying to beat the same team and losing every single time. So based on some of the comments that you've given me in my previous videos, there's probably going to be a lot more I will learn about his backstory. So we'll see if I continue to be more and more empathetic towards him. Everyone talks about how awesome Season 3 is, and so far you guys have not let me down, and I know you guys are telling me the truth, so I am pretty excited to watch Season 3. I heard there's a lot of volleyball action there and not as much story, so looking forward to provide my perspective on a lot of those plays. This is such a fascinating detail. Even though I studied animation in college, I never knew that animators were paid per frame. I thought they were paid per project, but this makes a lot of sense. And for those who aren't aware of how animation works, usually the more frames you can draw, the smoother and more detailed the animation looks. So it makes sense why the director has to pick and choose when they are going to limit the amount of frames and when they want to save the frames for some of the more intense action parts. And it must be stressful trying to stay within budget. If you've been enjoying my Haikyuu reaction videos, please consider supporting me on my Patreon, where you receive access to exclusive content like my monthly live Q&A sessions, my private blog, behind the scenes footage, and much more. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and click that notification bell so you never miss a video. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. Oh, it starts off right into the action. This is probably a replay from the match that's just ended. I love that scene where Kageyama swings his foot all the way around to square up to set. And there we have the unrealistic amount of spin on a set. And Hinata so determined, and he's applying the skills he learned during the training camp to aim for the hand of the blocker. Oh, that was so cool, having the flashback moments and Oikawa almost there. And that split second when you realize that you just missed the point and lost the game. And Hinata looking at his hand like, I just did this. And that scene also never gets old, where everyone just holds it in and explodes. Alright, this is where they save the good animation. So much detail in these images here. And this is what I've been waiting to see. Well, not the audience hugging each other, but what is Oikawa going to say to Kageyama? And Daichi's still with a bruise on his face. Not hanging around to see what's going to happen here. Alright. K-pop acknowledging that it's 1-1 now. And K-pop still views Kageyama as his biggest competition even when they were in middle school. Fly. I remember some of you guys telling me that they were playing the song for the Japanese national team. Declaration of war. Oh, that's right. If they win this match, I think they're going to compete against Ushijima, and I forgot the name of his school, Shiratorizawa. And no handshake directly from Daichi to K-pop. Yeah, that's true. K-pop would have dug it if it wasn't deflected off the block, so that's an unlucky play. Two players doing the right things and it didn't work out. Yeah, regret is real. And I appreciate that the Seijo coach is telling the players to be honest about how they feel. And yeah, I've cried after many close matches. I love this raw emotion that's coming out of this team here. There's that crazy set from K-pop. And what a dig. Oh yeah, when you feel like you're the ace of the team and you couldn't put the ball away, you just feel like you let the team down. I feel like that, and I'm not even the main hitter on my team. I love that hard slap from K-pop. I think he knows that Iwazumi is having a lot of regret on that hit. And at the end of the day, you need to thank your fans and be grateful for them for coming out and supporting your team. And there we have Mad Dog's mentor, little scruffy guy. And we have the two little kids. I love the energy. You need to have a good mixture of personalities. Oh, that's the worst, when you see the other team celebrating. I love how the Seijo player said, watch and never forget this. This is one theme I've always advocated for, is don't avoid pain in life. Now, I'm not saying you should go out and punch yourself in the face, but when there are moments that you can really learn something from, such as tough losses like this, the easy thing to do is to turn away and say, I can't watch that team be happy. But if you're a true competitor, if you really don't want to let this happen again, you need to let the sting of the loss really, really scar deep into your heart. So I think this is great that a lot of the great competitors from Seijo are just watching, and he said, don't ever forget this and let it motivate you to be even better. And for those of you who've been following, for those of you guys who've been following my reaction videos from season 1, I talked about one of the most painful losses of when I was in college and we lost to UC Berkeley after being up 2 points with a chance to win the match, and how we relaxed and then Berkeley came back and beat us. I just sat in the gym and I just watched them and I just sulked, and I just embraced the pain and I let it sink in, and that scarred me so deep that even now, that was like 15 years later, 13 years later, I still remember that loss like it was yesterday. And I let the pain of that loss continue to drive and motivate me, so I never relax under pressure, and I always strive to continue to be my best until the game is over. So, good lesson that we can learn from Seijo. Yeah, that's exactly what Karasuno felt when they lost against Seijo the first time. And no tears from K-pop here. We got Roothead probably crying. That's why he's washing his face here. Yeah, a little redness around the eyes. The bathroom, that's like the only place of piracy apparently in Japan. Awkward moment between Karasuno and Seijo. Is Kageyama going to say good game? No, he's going to continue to be awkward and just walk right by him. Alright, I love that. They are making the promise. That's hard. It's hard to walk by a team that you wanted to beat so badly. Now Karasuno, can they get rested enough for the next match? A lot of punching and slapping in Haikyuu. Don't use my name so much, that's funny. What a good older sister. Trying to keep her little brother in check. Oh, Yamaguchi's mentor coming up to him and saying good serve. That must feel good. That's right, did it end in the exact same way where Hinata got blocked in the same way? Triple block. And Seijo had an upgrade with Mad Dog. And the team manager finally not afraid of the ball. I wonder what Hinata is thinking. This is interesting that Hinata is not his usual spunky, overly celebratory self. I think he realizes that they really got away with one. Not that they got lucky, but he probably knows how good Oikawa is and how close Seijo was to actually beating them. That it was just a matter of 1 point and one play, and Hinata actually knows that it could have gone either way. Yeah, I've had that feeling before where even though you won, sometimes you feel more relieved than elated because you know that you either got lucky or that the other team was having an off day, or that somehow you just got the last point and both teams are working hard and you just happen to be the team that ended up on top, even though both teams deserved to win that one. Both teams played incredibly well. Okay, so he's saying that Oikawa actually read Hinata and was about to dig him if it weren't for the block. It's interesting for Hinata to notice that. Ooh, Oikawa runs into Ushijima here. Let's see what they say together. Ushijima actually respects Oikawa's setting. Oh, interesting. That's right, Ushijima wanted Oikawa to play with him because of your worthless pride. That's interesting. Oh, I think Oikawa just wanted to beat Shiratorizawa instead of joining them. Yeah, I love Ushijima's voice. He's just speaking the truth, whether you like it or not. I wonder if Oikawa's good enough to play on the junior national team like Ushijima is. It would be cool to finally see them play together. Ooh, that's an intense stare. That's that high quality animation we're talking about in the intro. Lots of line detail there. Wise words from K-pop. Stop focusing on me when the person you should really be worried about is Kageyama. Interesting for K-pop to acknowledge Kageyama's skill and potential. Maybe that's why he disliked him from an early age, because he saw that Kageyama had a good chance of being better than him very quickly. I love these analogies. I think they're looking at the matchups here. Infertile soil will not bring splendid fruit. I remember that interaction. My name is Hinata from Concrete. I love it. Ho ho, finally we get to see them play Shiratorizawa. I've been waiting so long to see how good Shiratorizawa is and all the hype around that team, especially Ushijima. I think honestly, just knowing a little bit about storytelling and suspense, I think it might be too early for Karasuno to beat Shiratorizawa. I think they're going to have to lose first and then come back and try to beat them in another tournament, just like they did with Seijo. This is great that Coach Ukai actually expresses how grateful he is for Takeda Sensei. Even though I'm sure that Takeda Sensei knows how much Coach Ukai appreciates them, it's so important for your leaders to vocalize thank you, you're welcome, I'm glad you're here, either through words or show appreciation through gestures like a handshake or a high five or buying them a meal. That's one thing I try to do with my coaches because, in all honesty, at least in the USA, coaching high school does not pay very well. At least in the public sector. When you coach club, you can actually make pretty decent money. But coaching high school, you don't do it for the money. You can't make a living anywhere near a living off of it. And so when I do have my coaching staff, they are volunteering so much of their time. And even if they do get paid, they get paid even less than the head coaches, which is already not that much. And so I try to tell them thank you through text and in person. I say, hey, thanks for being here, guys. Even though I expect them to be there, I still thank them for taking the time that day to be there. I try to praise them when I think they make some good coaching moves, like with a player, or when I feel like they've made an impact on the program. I also buy them milk tea. I try to treat them out to dinner when I can because they are giving up so much of their time, and the least I can do is to show my appreciation for them throughout the season. And not only is that the right thing to do, because you should appreciate the people that are good to you in your life, but you actually get more out of the coaching staff when they feel appreciated, right? People want to be recognized whether they say that or not, and when you do recognize them, they're going to work even harder for you, because that's one thing that's hard to put a price on is appreciation. And here we see Takeda Sensei caught off guard. And Coach Ukai just being grateful for the situation he's in, grateful for all the time that Takeda Sensei takes to run the team. That's right, they reconnected with Nekoma, and they participated in the summer training, or the off-season training. I don't know if it was in the summer or not. That's funny. Asian people do not know how to receive compliments, by the way, if you can't tell. If you're Asian, you know what I'm talking about. You have to deny the compliments as a way of saying you're well or thank you as well. The friendship never gets old. Oh, is that the girls' team? That's right. Is she gonna slap herself in the face again? Oh, that's so cool that the school recognizes their accomplishments. It's important to affirm your students outside of school success. And Taichi's still rocking his bruise. Wow. What a homecoming. This is so cool. That's right, historically, Karasuno was known for volleyball. Then they had a little drop in their recent history. And for the school to recognize them, and now the students are on board. Who's Miyagi? What is this? This looks like a newscast. Ooh, are they looking to get featured on TV? I totally remember it. I can completely relate to the scene In the Bay Area, we have a program called Cal High Sports, and if you're from California, you might have heard of that. And it's a local network it's got to be privately funded because it still feels like a little low tech, but it's run by a few people that are so passionate about covering high school sports. And it's not associated with any major news networks. It's not super well funded, but they do such a good job trying to cover all the high school sports. They even come to the games and record things and take a few videos and do interviews and photographs and write articles, and then they post it on some local channels. And I remember staying up until 10 or 11 p.m. hoping I would get featured on the local Cal High Sports, which would only be on for like 30 minutes. But unfortunately, we were never aired because when I was in high school, our boys' high school team was not very good. But when I started coaching high school, we would get featured every other year because we were pretty good for the girls volleyball team and the boys volleyball team at Mission San Jose High School. And I remember how excited the kids were and actually how proud I was as a coach for the kids to finally make it on Cal High Sports. So it's cool to see that they even have this in Japan. Let's see what clips they replay. That'd be hilarious if they replayed when Daichi got punched in the face by Tanaka. Ooh, great photograph, celebration. And of course they have to film Seijo crying on TV. And they're going to feature K-pop, who's their premier player. Is that Ushijima saying it's sad that we won't see Seijo in the finals? That's a little disrespectful. That's probably the first disrespectful thing that Ushijima has said. Everything else has been pretty black and white. Now, if I were Karasuno, I would take that personally and use that as motivation to want to destroy Shiratorizawa, break some fingers. They beat Kisanike West High School. All these shots of Ushijima are like an upward angle, so you feel like he's imposing. Even on the TV station, he's looking downward. Ooh, they're going to be televising their game. Man, what pressure. Something tells me that Karasuno is going to feel the pressure of the TV station and the cameras. I love these team meetings. This is where you get to learn a lot about Coach Ukai and his coaching philosophy. Yeah, teams are good not just because of one player. It's usually because they have multiple players that are contributing to the success. Oh, Hinata's just ready. I love it. I love Hinata's blind confidence. I wonder what their strategy is. If you over-focus on Ushijima, you let 4 other hitters have their way. And now we have the poetic, inspirational speech from Takeda-sensei. Yeah, they can't call them the flightless crows anymore. That's right, and the winner of this tournament goes to nationals. Man, something tells me that they're going to keep dragging it out, do all this long storytelling, and then right before the first serve, that's when they're going to end episode 25. Can never get too many reps. In the USA, this would be legal to do these type of practices without an adult in the gym. I wonder if it's the same thing for Japan. What a good team manager. Is she going to help out? I would definitely force my players to try to rest, or if they have a lot of energy, then just have them watch some game footage. There's that set that they've been working on. Hopefully their fatigue doesn't affect them in the game tomorrow, but they are keeping it sharp here. I love it. I would much rather have players that overwork themselves than underwork themselves. Yeah, what is Yashi-chan? Maybe she's just mesmerized by last time she did this drill. They couldn't even connect, and now they're connecting so easily. Oh, she's referring to where they ended up getting a fight last time they tried to work together. Maybe that's why she was hesitant to toss for them. This is so great. I remember in season 1 where she was just looking for a place to belong, and her mom was just always so busy to pay attention to her. Now she has a place to belong and valued. And she gets to witness an incredible transformation. I'll tell you a short story. Last year for Monroe Catholic High School, which is the high school I coach at in Hayward, California, we were lucky enough to have a short season, which was like a 6-week pandemic season, and our schedule was super short. We only played 30% of the usual number of matches just because of COVID-19 restrictions. And even though it was a short season, my goal was still to bring a life-changing experience for the coaches and the players. Obviously, we had to approach it in a different way. But there was one player who showed a lot of dedication. She came out to all the strength and conditioning work and to the practices before we actually started practicing. Unfortunately, she just couldn't keep up physically, and she was very inexperienced with volleyball, so we couldn't take her on the team. But instead of cutting her like we did some of the other girls who couldn't hang, we really saw her dedication to the program, so we offered her a team manager position. So in that way, she can see what good volleyball looks like. She can help with practices like tossing and scorekeeping, which are really important. And more importantly, she can feel like she's a part of the team because when you see someone that dedicated, you do want to try to find a way to keep them in the program because they can still add a lot of value even if they can't physically participate. And the incentive for her not only was to be a part of the volleyball team in a different capacity, was just to bond with the girls and to get that volleyball team experience. And so at the end of the season, we actually ended up doing really well. We improved so much over a 6-week course, and we had a great coaching staff that really helped accelerate the learning. And especially for the first year of Monroe Catholic, for those of you who don't know my coaching history, I used to coach at Mission Housing High School in Fremont, California since 2005, so 15 years. And so this was my first year coaching at Monroe Catholic. So that first year is always the toughest year because you have to really change things and establish a new culture, which is a very difficult transition. And we did experience that. The first 3 weeks were very, very, very rough. Girls were learning a new system. They're still learning a different way to practice, different expectations. But the last 3 weeks were a complete 180-degree turnaround. And I remember we had a team meeting at the end of our last game where we just played some of the best volleyball that some of the girls have played during their entire high school season. And I remember our team manager spoke up and she said she was just so grateful to be a part of the team and see the team grow and how that really impacted her. But she was just so grateful to see how much a team can change in just 6 weeks. And then she started tearing up because it was just such a a powerful experience for her. So it's so cool to see Yachi here, and it relates so well to the team manager. And I'm so grateful for our team manager to participate in our practices and to help us get to such a great performance that we did in 6 weeks. I think it's cute that Kageyama and Hinata, they get in so many fights that they don't even remember the biggest one they had. Townsperson B. That's just some slang that I will never understand. Ooh, Hinata giving Kageyama some instruction to thank her. Back to some fighting. Ooh, Shimizu. Let's see what she's gonna do. And they're definitely gonna listen to her. I love Hinata's body language there. Droop shoulders just like a little kid. That's funny that Shimizu has to check on the gym to make sure people go home and rest. She probably knew that Hinata and Kageyama were going to be there. That's a hardcore team manager right there, taking full ownership of the team. And now does Hinata have to bike uphill all the way home? That's brutal, especially if they have to play a match the next day. Man, what a great view. I heard the nature in Japan is just breathtaking. That's cool. Uh-oh. The end credit music is starting early. This is not good. We're gonna have to wait to season 3. I knew they were gonna do this. Well, the good news is there should be a 6-minute video at the end of this episode. I'm hoping I'm watching the right scene, or if I have to find it somewhere, like the extra episode after season 1. Ooh, the animation quality is still very high. And we have, I love the incoming walking scenes. Look at the determination on everyone's faces. You gotta act like you own the gym before you walk into there. And Ushijima in their way, or Ushiwaka. Am I calling him the wrong name this whole time? And I love how Hinata and Kageyama Tobio. Hinata Shoyo. Who grew from concrete. Oh, I love these guys. They're super confident, standing up to the giant Ushijima. Or Ushiwaka. Interesting that he was waiting. It was like he was waiting for them outside. Oh. Hinata went from vomiting before games to being determined. I love those yelling scenes where they just wait for 2 seconds and then they yell. There we got the crow. Here are my immediate thoughts to episode 25. I couldn't wait to see what the interaction was going to be between Oikawa and Kageyama, because in my opinion Oikawa is still pretty immature, so you never know what he's going to say, if he's going to be a brat or not. But he definitely gave Kageyama respect in his own way, saying, hey, we're now 1-1. I'm going to get you next time. And Kageyama accepted that challenge. And I also love how much Haikyuu shows the raw emotions after a tough loss, especially when you've worked so hard every game, every practice leading up to this point, and you still lost. And I've said this multiple times before, the toughest losses are when both teams deserve to win. But the reality of sports is there can only be one winner, even if both teams do everything to perfection. And that's the beauty of sports, but also that's the pain of sports. And one thing that's great about Haikyuu is that they teach all the people who watch this anime, especially the young athletes there, that it's okay to feel disappointed, and it's okay to cry, it's okay to hurt, and it's okay to embrace the pain, because that is truly where you grow, and that's really what the human experience is about. I think too often that we spend so much of our life finding ways to avoid pain, which is good in some circumstances because you don't want to be masochistic. But sometimes when pain is unavoidable from real life experiences like a death in the family, a breakup, a tough loss after a volleyball game, it's important to learn to dive deep into that pain in order to learn how to deal with it, and more importantly, how to grow from it. And even more importantly, how to help others work through their own pain. One big difference I noticed between the Hinata at the end of season 2 and the Hinata at the beginning of season 1 is, remember how much Hinata was shaking and vomiting even the day before a match, and just how his confidence has continued to grow, and now against the toughest team in the tournament, he is even more determined. So it's so good to see that type of growth there. And I can't wait to see what Yamaguchi is going to do against Shiratorizawa. I know he's not the main feature of the game, but he's quickly becoming one of my favorite characters in Season 2 because he comes in and makes an impact. And I'm sure he's going to continue to expand his role, not just as a serving specialist, but he's going to also get a couple digs and maybe even a backup setter and maybe even a kill here and there. And I'm also especially excited to see what Ushiwaka can do. All this hype about how he's the under 19 junior national team member. What does that look like in Haikyuu? Because we've already seen so many great hitters like Bokuto and Lev, but what does a junior national team member look like? And more excitingly, how is Asahi and Hinata, what does that look like when they go up against such a great player like Ushiwaka? I'm definitely looking forward to starting another season next week, and we'll see you guys then.